Section 23 is about how to use the area of a circle to solve problems. And what we're going to do in class is understand where that formula comes from. So you have an activity to do in class. Right here, I'm going to talk about what square units are, and then we will go ahead and do some examples. So first of all, area of something is how much flat, which is two-dimensional space, something takes up. And we measure area in square units. So we're going to take just a moment to talk about what that really means. So we have square feet, we have square inches, we have square centimeters, we have square miles, we have lots of different things. Now, we could also write square feet like that. So if I talk about a square inch, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what that means. 1 square inch means that we have 1 inch here and 1 inch here. So the area of space, two-dimensional space, is a square inch. So when we say what's the area of a circle, and it says, and we come up with 5 square inches, that means 5 of these figures here will fit inside of the circle. Now obviously we would have to mold this shape so that it would fit inside of a circle. Alright, let's go ahead and do some examples. The first one says a water sprinkler sends water out in a circular pattern. How large is the watered area if the radius of the watering pattern is 15 feet? So we have a circle that is formed by the sprinkler spray. So if this is the sprinkler, S, it will spray 15 feet from the sprinkler. So that means that's 15 feet. And it can spray in any direction, 15 feet. So you can see that when it sprays, it will form a circle. Okay, pretend that's a good circle. Alright, so what we need to do is find the area of how much is sprayed, how much gets water. Now the formula for the area of a circle, which we will understand where this comes from during an activity in class, so make sure you see me. Area equals pi times the radius squared. And we know the order of operations requires us to square the radius before we multiply by pi. And just like the last section, we have to read the directions. Sometimes it will ask for an exact answer. So that means we do not do anything with the pi, we just keep the pi in the answer. And other times we'll ask to be estimating or rounding. So you have to make sure you read the directions. In this one, we plug in the numbers. Area equals pi times 15 squared. Since it's asking for an exact answer, I'm going to keep pi in my answer. And 15 squared is 225. So I would write that my area is 225 pi square feet. If you do not put the label, obviously the label is given here in digits, but if you don't put the label on a piece of paper, then it would be considered incomplete. So make sure you put your labels there. If we were to estimate this answer, 225 times pi, if I round that to 3, 225 times 3 is 675. So it's approximate, it's a little bit more than 675 square feet. Let's move on to the next problem. It says a certain coin is a circle with diameter 34 millimeters. What is the exact area of each side of the coin? So we have our coin here. Pretend that's a circle. And we know that the diameter, remember diameters go through the center of circles, is 34 millimeters. So that means that the radius, which is from the center to the side, is half of that, which is 17 millimeters. In this formula, area equals pi times the radius squared. We cannot substitute diameter for radius squared. Remember, squared means times itself, and the diameter is not the radius times itself, it's the radius plus itself, or 2r. So don't get that confused. I'm ready to plug in my numbers, so I have the area equals pi times 17 squared. The problem does ask for an exact answer, so I don't plug anything in for pi, I keep it as pi, and 17 squared is 289. So the area is 289 pi square millimeters. That's the exact area. Moving on to the next one. It asks, how many times greater is the area of circle 1 than the area of circle 2? The area of circle 1 is pi times radius squared, and circle 1 is 12. The radius is 12, so pi times 12 squared. And the area equals 144 pi. If I do the area of circle 2, area equals pi r squared. The area equals pi times 4 squared. So the area equals 16 pi. So let's take a look at, this is how you would answer the question. The area of circle 1 is how many times greater than the area of circle 2. So circle 1's area is 144 pi. Is means equals how many times the area of circle 1, which is 16 pi. So in order to solve this, I would divide both sides by 16 pi. Pi divided by pi cancels, and 144 divided by 16 is 9. So that tells us that the area of circle 1 is 9 times the area of circle 2. Moving on to the next example. A radio station broadcasts from the top of a mountain. The signal can be heard up to 470 miles away in every direction. How many square miles are in the receiving range of the radio station? And then I'm going to explain 2 ways to find this area in square kilometers. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to take the formula for area. And the reason is, if this is the radio station here, it can be heard 470 miles away from it in every direction. So you should understand that 470 miles away from a point ends up to be a circle. Okay, so this is 470 miles. So we have the area equals pi times the radius squared. So the area equals pi times 470 squared. And we're giving our answer in terms of pi. If it said to give an estimate, you would use 3.14 or 22 over 7. So we're going to use pi, and then 470 squared is 220,900. So that means that the area that you can hear the radio station is 220,900 square miles. Alright, now we are going to learn two different ways to change that to square kilometers, or to answer in square kilometers. So the first way is, instead of using 470 miles for the radius, we're going to change that to kilometers. And we know that there are 1,000 miles in 1 kilometer. So I have to divide this by 1,000, and we get 0.47 kilometers. So one way is to change the radius and then answer the question. Area equals pi times 0.47 squared. So that is 0.2209 pi square kilometers. The other way, instead of changing the radius, I could look at my answer here and change square miles into square kilometers. To understand fully how to do this, let's make a square here. And let's say that the square is 1 kilometer on each side. If the square is 1 kilometer on each side, that's 1 square kilometer. But it is also 1,000 meters on each side. So if it's 1,000 meters on each side, that means it's 1,000,000 square meters. So 1 square kilometer is 1,000,000 square meters. So what I need to do is I take my answer in square miles, which was 220,900 square miles, and I divide that by 1,000,000 to get it into square kilometers. I meant meters. 220,900 square meters divided by 1,000,000. And you should note that we get the exact same answer, 0.2209. And we have pi here. I just realized I left out the pi, so go back and add the pi in there. That's a very significant difference. Pi square kilometers. All right. And we have one last example. The diameter of a circle, of a circular stained glass window, is 7 feet 6 inches. What is the area in square feet, and what is it in square inches? So let's do the square feet first. So we have a circle, and this radius is 7 feet 6 inches, and you should know that 6 inches is half a foot. So this is 7.5 feet. So the area equals pi times radius squared. So it's pi times 7.5 squared. It says to round to the nearest hundredth, and we're using 3.14 for pi. So 3.14 times 7.5 squared equals 176.625. So if I round to the nearest hundredth, it's 176.63 square feet. So that's the answer in square feet. We need to now do it in square inches. So we have a choice. We could either take my answer and convert square feet into square inches. Let's talk about what that looks like. If this is 1 foot on each side, it is also 12 inches on each side. So that means that 1 square foot is equal to 144 square inches. So I would need to take 176, actually I would take this one, 176.625, and I would multiply it by 144, and that would give me 25,434 square inches. Now I'm going to do the same problem in inches from the beginning to show you that we get the same answer. So from the beginning, 7 feet, you multiply that by 12, and you get 84. So it's 84 inches plus 6 inches, so that's 90 inches. So 7.5 feet is 90 inches. So if we use that in our formula, area equals pi times radius squared, we get 3.14 for pi, since we're told to do that, times 90 squared. So when you type that into your calculator, you should end up with the same thing that I got originally, this one here, and you do. It is 25,434 square inches. So this should show you why it's so important to put labels with your answers, because 25,434 is an accurate number for this, but so is 176.625. So you would have to make sure that you label all of your answers when we're talking about any type of measurement.